Good morning, everyone. Welcome to e-learning class of social science. Today we will continue lesson 10 of history, that is new empires and kingdoms. Golden age of the Gupta period. Students, in the last class we discussed about the Gupta dynasty, its rulers, and all they achieved. Today we will read about the Gupta administration, rise of Harshvardhan and South Indian kingdoms, the Chalukyas and the Palwas. The administration of Guptas was praiseworthy. The rulers of the period assumed high sounding titles and performed Rasuya and Ashwamedha sacrifices to show their power. The structure of the administration of Guptas was like that of the Mauryans. However, the Mauryan administration was centralized, whereas during the Gupta rule, the governors of the provinces were powerful and thus administration was more decentralized. The administration was decentralized and the bureaucracy consisted of Kumar Amatyas who headed various positions. The king was assisted by a council of ministers. The ministers were highly paid officials who often led the armies during war. In later period, they were granted land instead of cash salaries. This weakened the king's position as the official started becoming powerful and tried to break away from the empire. The empire was divided into provinces called Uparika, which were generally under the prince. The provinces were divided into districts called Vaishyas under Ayuks. In the villages, the Gramika and the village elders looked after village administration. Agriculture was the chief source of state revenue. Hence, irrigation was given a lot of importance. The Nagarpatis looked after the town administration. The large number of officers are mentioned in the literary works. Important posts gradually became hereditary. An important person could hold more than one administrative or judicial post. The priest received many grants and villages and developed many temples. Society grew more and more complex as the inhabitants, farmers, and artisans began to be controlled by the landlords. Now we will read about the rise of Harshvardhan, the Gupta Empire, which rose to power in 4th century AD, flourished for around 2 centuries. However, around 6th century AD, the Gupta Empire became weak and started disintegrating. The downfall of the Gupta Empire brought about the breakup of the northern Indian kingdom into many small republics, and monarchy states. The Vardhan Kingdom of Thanesar in present day Haryana was one of them. The Vardhan or Pushyabhutis dynasty began ruling from 6th century. The Chinese traveler Huan Sang's writings, Banbhata's Harshcharitra, and some copper inscriptions provided information about this period. The founder of the Vardhan dynasty was Prabhakar Vardhan. Harshvardhan was the prominent king of this dynasty. His popular name was Harsha. Harsha became the king of Thanesar after the death of his father Prabhakar Vardhan and his brother Rajya Vardhan. The king of Kannauj was married to his sister Rajya Shri. When the king of Kannauj was killed by the king Shashanka of Bengal, King Harsha captured Kannauj and attacked the king of Bengal. Harsha made Kannauj as his capital city. He first united the kingdom of Thanesar and Kannauj and then went to bring Bihar, Bengal, and Odisha under his command. The Kannada king of the Chalukyas, Pulkesin II, did not let him advance beyond the Narmada river in the south. As a result, the Narmada became the southern limit of Harsha's empire. The king ruled with assistance from the Council of Ministers. For the purpose of governance, the kingdom was divided into provinces. Land tax was the major source of income of the kingdom. Banbhat, Harsha's court poet, wrote the Harshcharitra, the first historical poetic work on King Harsha. Buddhism was given prominence by King Harsha. This is seen even in the writings of Huan Sung. Later on his life, King Harsha became a follower of Buddhism. Under him, all religions and schools of thought like Jainism and Buddhism enjoyed freedom of expression. He ruled ably for 41 years. Now we will discuss the South Indian kingdoms, the Chalukyas and the Palwas. In South India, the Cholas, the Cheras, and the Pandyas ruled mainly between 2200 and 1800 years ago and about 1500 years ago. There were two large kingdoms, those of the Palwas and the Chalukyas. There were several other kingdoms and kings as well. We know about them from their coins and inscriptions as well as from books. The Palwas and the Chalukyas frequently raided one another's prosperous towns. The kingdom of the Palwas spread from the region around their capital Kanchipuram to the Kaveri Delta. Kingdom of the Chalukyas was centered around the Raichur Doab between the rivers Krishna and Tungbhadra. Aihole was the capital of the Chalukyas. It was an important trading center and a religious center with number of temples. The best known Chalukya ruler was Pulkesin II. Pulkesin II extended the Chalukya Empire up to Konkan, Goa, and Malwa. He defeated the first important Palwa king, Mahendra Varman, but he was later defeated by his son Narsimha Varman. The Palwa rulers built the Shore temple and the Rathas at Mahabalipuram. They patronized Sanskrit scholars and helped in growth of Tamil language. There were sons who roamed around singing the hymns. The sons who sang in praise of Vishnu were called Alvars. There were 12 Alvars. And those who sang in praise of Shiva were called Nyanmars. There were 63 Nyanmars. So, students, for a better understanding, read the lesson twice and write the question answers in your fair notebook of social science. Thank you and have a nice day.